Hello, everyone, and welcome to the special editions of the 4J's here at Utica TV. I'm your host, James Brown, and today we're going to give our Pioneer picks for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 of this year's March Madness tournament. Before we get to our picks, let's go around the table and introduce ourselves, starting with my good friend to my right.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Jeremy Horowitz. I listen to March Madness, a couple ups and downs, a lot of upsets in there. One thing I want to say, at least I'm not Eric Corey. I didn't pick Clemson to win the national championship, so it's safe to say my bracket is not nearly as busted as his.
I can't talk too much. I picked Clemson going pretty deep, but not to win the national championship. That's kind of insane. But I'm Jack Rathburn, also excited to be here. Unfortunately, to preview our next host, I am probably the #1 St. John's hater before we get to our next host.
Just very sad day for me. St. John's lost. RJ Lewis was not in the game when they lost. But I love RJ Lewis, and I love my fellow hosts. And Juan Soto's a bum. Starts tomorrow. Juan Soto is going to get hurt in the first game. Karma.
You're such a hater. That's crazy. Crazy. We're here to talk about basketball, and you got to find a way to hit on the Mets. It's all right, whatever. All right, well, let's get right into our picks, starting with the South region. #1 seed Auburn will be playing Michigan. Jeremy, lead it off with your pick.
Oh, Jeremy batting leadoff? It's someone I'm used to playing Little League Baseball. Listen, this Michigan team isn't a team I was very high on coming into the tournament. I did think they'd beat UC San Diego. There was a lot of talk, how Michigan's not that good, turnover-prone team. I think they really shut everybody up, obviously beating UC San Diego and then coming back and beating A&M by 12. But I think their run ends in the Sweet 16. This is an Auburn team who is definitely motivated. Last time out, beat Creighton by 12. I mean, Janiyah Broome, arguably the best player in the country. You have Chad Baker-Mazara. This team is just really old as college teams goes. I think the average age is like 23, 24 years old. And when you have a lineup like that, it's going to be tough for another team to come in and beat you. So I'm taking the Auburn Tigers to move to the Elite Eight.
I'm taking Auburn as well. I think Auburn's a really good team. I wasn't super high on Michigan to begin with. I kind of had them losing to Texas A&M in my brackets before the tournament started. I was kind of impressed with how well Creighton played against Auburn. They shut down Kalkbrenner, who's been a really, really dominant guy in all of college basketball. He's had a pretty good season. And they shut him down. He didn't do a whole lot, especially for the first half. First half, Creighton was still holding their own against Auburn, so I was a little bit worried about Auburn the rest of the tournament, but I still think they're a good team. I wasn't high on Michigan to begin with, so I'm going to kind of stick with my gut and take Auburn comfortably over Michigan.
I'm actually a little bit higher on Michigan than you guys are, but I still think Auburn's going to win the game. I think Michigan's bigs are good enough to compete with Janiyah Broome. Golden and Wolf, two very good big men for Michigan, and Wolf was on that team that actually upset Auburn last year in the first round. I know a lot of people had Auburn going deep last year, and they lost in the first round to Yale, JB's cousin.
Shout out Nick Townsend.
Shout out to Nick Townsend.
But no, I think Michigan's going to keep it a little bit closer than people think, but I also am going to take Auburn and move to this Elite Eight.
Yeah, I think this is an Auburn team that's really coming into this tournament. I originally had them win it all. Still believe that they can do it. I think this is a team that's really motivated after losing the first round. Won the SEC Tournament Championship last year. Won it again this year. I think this is bringing back so many guys. Baker-Mazara, Broome. Then you got like a freshman like Pettiford. They have a really great team, and I think they're just too deep for Michigan. Michigan, good starting five, but I don't think their depth's going to be able to get it done. I think Auburn's just going to play too fast for them. And, I'm always going to take the better coach, and Chris O is a better coach. Absolutely. Bruce Earl, pardon me.
Yeah, and Noach, you brought up a good point with Danny Wolf and Golden for Michigan. I think that two phenomenal bigs out of the Big Ten, but I don't think it's going to be enough to take down Broome and Deep Roger, JB mentioned. But I think we're in for a really good game. I do think Michigan's going to keep it close. They've surprised me so far in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In that first round matchup, though, I feel like they almost blew. I thought they were going to. I was shocked that they beat A&M. They were down basically that whole game. Played really bad in the second half versus UC San Diego. I don't think this team's that good. I don't know why people are so high on them. Obviously, you got Golden, who's got experience. He went to the Final Four a couple years ago with FAU, but I don't think they're that good.
I think people were hating on them to begin with. I mean, UC San Diego hype was kind of everywhere. I mean, UC San Diego was kind of a fun team to root for. That was kind of one of those teams that like everyone, even if you don't follow college basketball, you kind of want to see that team succeed. I think it was like their first time being eligible to be in
they just transitioned to D1.
Yeah, it's their first time. It'd be a cool story to see them beat Michigan. I didn't have them doing it, but it would have been a fun story to see. But I mean, it was like something that was possible. People thought is perceivable, and then I don't think it's realistic to see them beating a powerhouse like Auburn.
Yeah, and this is a team that won the Big Ten too. Like they won their conference tournament. They were down to Wisconsin too. They were down against A&M last weekend. They were down to Wisconsin in that championship game, and ultimately found a way to come back and win it in the end. And a dominant win over A&M as well, winning by 12. Like, this is a team who, yeah, they deserve more credit than I think they're getting.
Yeah.
Absolutely, playing the best basketball at the best time as well. Like you said, they weren't really supposed to win the Big Ten championship. They're a good team, but they were by any means not the favorite in that tournament. And but this team just keeps coming back and fighting. And I also had them losing to UC San Diego. I thought their hot streak would run in once they came into March Madness, but they've proved me wrong. They've proved a lot of people wrong, and me personally would not be surprised if they took down Auburn, but I'm going to take Auburn in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the Big Ten championship, and I mean, I don't think Michigan had the toughest kind of teams. They had to be looking at the bracket right here. I've never been super high on Maryland the whole tournament. I know me and JB were just talking about that. I don't think they're a super duper
We'll get
good
into
team.
that for sure.
They had to beat Purdue and they had to beat Wisconsin, which are two, I think, much better teams. But again, I don't think their competition throughout the Big Ten tournament was super duper difficult.
That's a good point.
All right, well, let's move on to the second game in the South. We've got the Rebels at Ole Miss. I know our guy Nico Leonard loves the Rebels as well as we do. Facing off against the Michigan Spartans. Jeremy, once again, lead it off for us.
Well, listen, it's March, and it's going to pay me to do it because I've been rooting for the Rebels train. Really, really fun team to watch. But you're running at the time Izzo in March, and I really think this Ole Miss team is due for some shooting regression. I mean, we put up 91 points on Iowa State last time out. Banging threes all over the court. I don't think you're going to be able to do that against a team like Michigan State. And Jay, but we talked a couple of days ago. Jace Richardson for Michigan State didn't have a great game, only had 6 points. Didn't play that well. Again, a freshman, only 19 years old. But I think this is his coming out party in the tournament. And I think MSU is going to handle Ole Miss very easily.
I'm taking the same thing, Michigan State over Ole Miss. This is kind of a no-brainer for me. I think Michigan State's obviously the better team. They were who I was kind of expecting to win the Big Ten. Obviously, things didn't go their way with Wisconsin, but I'm taking Michigan State. I think Ole Miss is going to be able to continue their streak.
Me personally, I watched this Michigan State team, and I'm not impressed at all. And this is probably the hottest take that I'll say on the show. I think Michigan State is the worst team that's left in this tournament.
Wow.
That's a good take.
I'm going to take the Rebels here. I chose UNC over this Rebels team. They proved me wrong there. I didn't think they'd get past Iowa State. They proved me wrong there. This team's good. Their coach, I think his name's Chris Beard.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, former Texas coach that was. Yeah, he's a very offensive-minded coach against a defensive-minded coach in Tom Izzo. This is going to be a good battle, but I just don't think Michigan State, if they trail, will have the scoring to get back. I think their leading scorer is maybe 12 points a game, and I think you need a pure bucket getter that's been averaging a good amount of points the entire year, and they. Me personally, I don't think they have a guy that will step up. Sean Padula is playing out of his mind right now, too. I think Ole Miss is going to win.
Yeah, I agree. I do actually think that Michigan State is one of the worst teams. I mean, I think there might be a team that has an argument to be worse, but they're not good. They don't score the basketball very well. They rebound pretty well. They play pretty good defense, but overall, I don't think this team is good at all. They struggled in the first half, even until the last 5 minutes of the game, struggled throughout playing New Mexico. It was a team that, still a decent team. Richard Pitino's a good coach. But at the end of the day, I think Ole Miss is just going to be too much. This is an Ole Miss team that's played like one of the best teams in the whole tournament. I mean, I think you can argue that in terms of a team playing the best, I think Ole Miss is right up there with teams like Tennessee, teams like Duke. I think they're right up there. That's been one of the best teams. And I think they're going to keep it going here. They're a team that's very veteran. Padula, Dia, they got a lot of guys that have been here for a while. And I think Chris Beard, I was telling you, Jeremy, earlier on today, I think that Chris Beard is one of the best coaches in college basketball. And at the end of the day, I take the better coaching. And Izzo is one of the greatest of all time, but I think Beard has just got a better team with him, younger team that's playing hard. And I think they're going to be just too much, like you said. I mean, SEC offense, I'm always going to take the SEC over anybody in this tournament. I said that at the start, and I'm staying with it. So I'm taking the Rebs, and MSU, they're bad. They're very bad. So let's go Rebs. Let's go Rebs.
Well, based off JB's track record, I'm really happy I picked Michigan State.
Well, hey, my picks and Pioneer picks are different than March Madness picks. This is the first time we're doing March Madness picks, so I got a clean slate on my record.
I don't know,
clean
because
slate.
the Oregon pick over Arizona is the same thing. It's,
Okay. Well, yeah, we were up 15 in the first half. Okay. Yeah, we
Only score that matters is the final score.
Ole Miss also has six scores that average double digits. I think MSU maybe has 2. So I think this is a team that that they're going to come out and they're going to score the basketball really well. We mentioned Padula. He's their leading scorer, 15 a game. He also shoots 41% from three. In college, that's just not normal. So, he's playing really good basketball right now. He's 20-plus points in both games this tournament. And I wasn't even impressed with Michigan State when they played Bryant. I thought Bryant held themselves in that game for a little bit in that first half and a little bit of the second half. But Tom Izzo, one of the greatest of all time, but I'm going to take the Rebels to move on.
I will say the scoring of Michigan State does worry me a little bit, even though I did pick Michigan. I watched the New Mexico game. I've got a friend that lives in New Mexico, and he was telling me that I had to watch this game.
You got friends all over the globe.
I've got
You got a friend in
friends
Mexico, you got a friend in Creighton.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm saying these first two, I've got connections, so that's why I'm bringing up these games specifically. But yeah, no, New Mexico's a very good team. Talked about the coaching there, but I think it's only 71 points against a New Mexico team that wasn't even really expected to win their first game. It does concern me a little bit, but again, the coaching, I think March Madness is the time to shine. I'm hoping they can pull things together and figure things out.
All right, now we move on to the Elite Eight. Covered our Sweet 16 picks. So, Jeremy, I believe you have Auburn versus Michigan. Who do you think is going to make it to the Final Four?
I got Auburn against Michigan State in my Elite Eight. Listen, it's kind of a chalk year. Look at the bracket. It's tough now with all the NIL money for the mid-majors to really do anything. You don't see many mid-majors left. I don't think there even is one, but no, there's not.
No, it's just Power 5.
It's all Power 5 schools. It's really not Power 4. It's the better teams now are the better teams. You know what I mean? I'm taking Auburn to go to the Final Four. It's a kind of a chalk year when you look at the bracket, but again, this Auburn team, really, really veteran, really older team, and they have arguably the best player in the country in Janai Broome. So how do you not back that? I'm taking Auburn to go to the Final Four.
I'm taking Auburn as well. I did have a bracket I made where I had Michigan State going to the Natty. So you guys might not like that when you guys are trying to talk all this about Michigan State. I do like Michigan State a lot. I think Auburn's really good though, so I'm going to take Auburn as well over Michigan State, the Spartans.
I look at this game and I'm just a little. I don't know where to go, but I think I'm going to take Ole Miss. I don't want to be the same old, different, boring guy. I think this is going to be a lot closer of a game than people think as well. And I think the last time they played this was the SEC tournament. It was a closer game than people thought. I think Auburn won by 6, 5.
Yeah, I think they won by like 7 or 8 points.
Yeah,
the line was like 12, 13 and a half.
And that was Ole Miss on a bad shooting day. So they're riding hot right now. I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna ride the Ole Miss train and I'm gonna take them to go to the Final Four.
I'm also, not to be basic, but I am taking the Auburn Tigers. Like I said, I had them winning it all in my initial bracket. I think they're still going to win it all. This team is just playing great basketball. To win by double digits in both your games is really hard to do in March, especially versus a tough Creighton team that absolutely dominated Louisville, who I thought was going to make a deep run in the tournament, or lose to Auburn. But I think they were going to play well versus Creighton initially. But I think Auburn is just going to roll right past Michigan State, roll past Michigan, roll past Ole Miss, and taking the Tigers. All right, so now on the opposite side of the bracket, let's go down and look at the East region where Duke will be facing off against Arizona. So, Jeremy, what's your pick?
All right, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. It's Duke. No way around it. This team is insane. The whole roster, you get contributions from everybody. Cooper Flagg, Tyrese Proctor, Con Knuppel, Malik Brown. The list goes on and on. I think John Schreier come in the game and probably drop like 6 to 8 points or something like that. This Duke team, they score the ball, they defend really well. I think they're the most complete team in the field. And listen, I love Caleb Love. I'm a big Caleb Love fan. I don't think Arizona and him have a chance in this game. I really think Duke's going to blow the doors off Arizona and move into the Elite Eight with, again, what I think is the most complete team in the field.
Give me Zona. I don't like Duke. I never liked Duke in the entire tournament. I think they're a really young team. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I think Arizona is one of the most underrated teams. I think I could have seen them being seeded even a little bit higher. I really like Arizona. I'm just kind of going off a gut feeling here, which I know I do a lot on this show, even with our Utica Pioneer picks, but I really like Arizona. I'm taking them over Duke because I think they had a pretty easy. I think Baylor was a good team, and I like Baylor as well. But I don't think that win is saying enough about them. I'm taking Arizona.
Once again, it's March. Anything can happen. I like what you say, your gut feeling. And, Caleb Love, if he's on, this is going to give this Duke team a problem because he's a very inconsistent scorer, but he's a very high scorer. He might not be efficient all the time, but he's going to shoot a lot. And if he's on like he was in that Oregon game, I think they were trailing Oregon, right, by a lot.
Yeah,
and
15.
He led that comeback. if he's on, it could give Duke a problem. But I mean, Jeremy said it best. This Duke team is so good, and John Shire is one of the best coaches already in what, his second or third year. I mean, one of the best coaches in the nation. I'm going to take Duke to move on to the Elite Eight.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going with who I think is the best player. I think one of the best players I've seen play college basketball in a long time. Banchero was a guy who I thought was one of the best, but this guy's different. Cooper Flag, he's playing insane with a hurt ankle. It doesn't matter. I mean, he's just having his way with everybody to, like I said, beat Baylor, dominate Mount St. Mary, beat them by 50. I mean, just crazy stuff. This Duke team, I really doubted them. I had them losing to Akron originally in my bracket, which was terrible by me. But, yeah, I didn't believe in Duke this year. I thought they were going to be too young. But Cooper Flag's playing like an absolute beast. So I'm going to go with Duke over Arizona. I don't think Arizona's that good. I think they got lucky versus Oregon. They should have lost that game. But I'm still salty about that.
Yeah, I think we could tell.
All right, let's move on to what I think is the best game in the Sweet 16. I think this is the best game, BYU versus Alabama.
Yeah, I think first things first, the total for this game was like 175 and a half. This game may have about 3,000 points scored, but I think Bama is just a better version of BYU. I think they're better shooters. BYU could fill up the bucket whenever they please. I think Bama is just better at that than they are. I think Bama's going to beat them. I think final score, you may see both teams in double digits for this game. Like, I don't think that's a crazy thing to say because neither team really plays defense. But
you think both teams are going to hit double digits? Both teams are going to get 10 points?
Yeah, these two teams, though.
I can see that happening
double
too.
digits?
No. I can see it happening too.
I'm at triple digits. That's why I need them over here. Both teams may get to triple digits. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I think both these teams really fill up the cup a lot, but neither of them really play much defense either. But I think Baby Brunson, Mark Sears is going to have his way, and I'm going to take Bama beating BYU, moving on to the Elite Eight. Sorry, I love the Mormons, but I got to take Bama here.
I mean, Jeremy said exactly what I was thinking. I think that was a great take. Alabama's just a better version of BYU. I mean, I think it's going to be just offense, and then as soon as you score the bucket, just go sit on the bench until you get the ball back. There could be 5 billion points scored in this game, but I think Bama's just going to. I think their field goal percentage, the 3-point. I think every percentage they have is better than BYU. I don't know that for sure, but again, just going off of what I can assume. I've had Bama going deep in a lot of my brackets as well, so I think that's just again gut feeling. I'm saying Bama.
I think out of everything that we picked today, this is my most confident one. I'm going to go Bama. Bama just scores in absolute bunches, and their volume of scoring is none other. What's his name? Nate Oates, right? Coach of Alabama. He preaches the new version of basketball. Just fast-paced, score a lot, and Bama does this a lot better than BYU does it. I like what Jeremy said. I think they both have the same version of play styles, but Bama's better at it, and Mark Sears led them to a Final Four last year. I think this is the year that he tries to do it again. He'll run into Duke, unfortunately, in the Elite Eight, which we'll get into in just a moment. But I'm going to take the Tide, and this is my most confident pick of anything that we do today. Trust.
Yeah, not to beat the dead horse, but yeah, Alabama's the better team. This is the Alabama team that is so good at every level. And I think, honestly, one of the most underrated aspects of them is their bigs. I think Grant Nelson and they have the Rutgers transfer Omari or wherever, number 11. He's really good, too. Had himself a really good game versus St. Mary's. I think that they just spread the floor so well. I think Mark Sears is one of the best players in the nation. And when they have their bad games, it's always, just because they play the tougher team. And BYU, I think, is a really good team, but they're not better than Alabama. And I favorite the SEC, and I think the SEC is better here. I'm going with Alabama. So now, guys, let's move over. This is one of the best games in the tournament, I think. If this comes down to it, this might be the best game that we'll see all March Madness. Duke versus Alabama. This is a heck of a game.
I think it'd be a heck of a game, but the one thing Bama doesn't do is play defense. I mean, you're playing Cooper Flag and that Duke roster. That's not something that's going to help you win a basketball game. Duke is my pick to go to the Final Four over Alabama. Duke, I think, really have their way. You brought it up, JB. When Bama plays a tougher competition, you don't see them play their type of basketball. I think Duke really control the pace of this game and slow Bama down. And if Bama has to play slow, that's not the type of basketball they know how to play. It's not what they practice. And I think this Duke team is, again, they're the best team in the field. It's going to be a really, really tough day at the court for Mark Sears and company if you have to take on Cooper Flag and his other guys on that roster. So I got Duke going to the Final Four out of the East region.
I mean, Duke and Bama are two like the biggest teams in college basketball. At least nothing else, the biggest names. It is too bad that Duke's going to lose to Zona in the round before, so it's going to be Arizona versus Bama in the Elite Eight. But I think that one's not going to be close either. Kind of similar to Bama and BYU. I'm going to take Bama over Arizona.
Me personally, making brackets before the year, I never like to put like a 1 seed. I like to be a little different. I mean, I went a 2 seed this year. We'll get into that in a little bit when I start crying on set. But Duke played their first game November 4th. It's now, March 20-something, and they've lost 3 games. Each game they've lost is by 6 points or less. This team is actually insane. Like you said, Alabama doesn't play defense, and Duke does play defense. Duke plays both sides of the ball. I think Duke is the best all-around team left in this tournament, and I'll take Duke. I think it's going to be a close one. I like what JB said.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one of the best games that we'll see this tournament. But I think Duke is just too physical for Bama, and they play better on both sides of the ball as a collective as a whole. I'll take the Blue Devils to go to the Final Four.
Well, this is a Duke team that I think hasn't really been tested all season. ACC, I think, is the worst out of the Power 4 conferences. I think the ACC is not good at football, not good at basketball. They're pretty good at baseball, so at least they got something. But they are not very good. And I don't think Duke's played a team like Alabama all year. They haven't played a team this tough. They haven't played a team that can shoot the ball this well. And I think Nate Oates is just going to outclass John Shire. I'm going with Roll Tide still. Alabama's going to go on to the Final Four. This is a team that's just going to run Duke out of the gym. They're going to roll right past them. And I like how we both got Alabama in our Final Fours. I'm telling you, this Alabama team is really, really good. And the SEC is always going to be superior, always.
Yeah, when you're playing the best team in the country, I don't think it matters what conference you play in. I mean,
But who do they play? Who have they played that's as good as Alabama?
They stomped. I'm looking
What do
here.
you
They
mean?
stomped Arizona. They lost.
Okay, yeah, Arizona, okay.
And they stomped.
Good team.
They beat Auburn. They beat Auburn.
They beat Auburn. Okay, when was that? In November?
That was December 4th.
Okay, exactly. So if they've gone all of 2025 without playing a real test. This is going to be their first test.
They're 3
They've rolled through
losses.
everybody in the tournament. They're going to roll past Arizona, too. They're going to think it's going to be a cakewalk to the Final Four. And Alabama's just going to shoot the rock better than them.
Their 3 losses are Kentucky, Kansas, and Clemson.
Their 3 losses to Kentucky, Kansas, and Clemson.
Yes.
Okay, Kentucky, very good team. Kansas,
Not bad.
really
They
good to
were
start the
number
year.
one. They
really
were
good
number
to
one.
start the year. And then who'd you say the last one was?
Clemson on the
Oh.
in
road.
Clemson.
Okay.
Shout out Eric Corey. Nah, but I don't think Bama has a chance against Duke. I don't think.
You
so.
don't think they have a chance?
A
No,
chance?
Duke is.
That's
I like what Noja
crazy.
said. Duke
This
is
is a
the
team full of freshmen.
Duke is the best all-around team in college basketball. They defend great, they play offense great, and they beat Auburn. I mean, if we're gonna go against good teams, that's another 1 seed in the tournament. That could be that is talked about to be the best team in the bracket. Not in my opinion, but all like ESPN and all these big media sites, all these people say Auburn is the best team in the country, and if Duke beat them, well, then I don't think they're gonna have a problem against Alabama.
You're not valuing experience at all. Alabama team has been to the Final Four. They've been here before playing against freshmen who have never played
I
a
think
team this good in their
experience can only
lives.
take you so far.
Can't take you so far.
No,
But
look.
it's not like they're a bummy team.
I'm
This
not
is
saying
an
they're a
Alabama
bummy team. They're
that's
gonna
really good.
go to the Elite Eight and lose. I mean, they're playing the best team in the country.
Our experience definitely does have a lot to do with it in March Madness, especially when you get down the stretch, Elite Eight, Final Four, and all that. But you said it yourself. This kid Cooper Flagg is just unbelievable, and he hasn't seemed like pressured at all in big games. I know he was out for the ACC tournament, but look, they still, they won it without him, and they're a good team without Cooper
ACC
Flagg.
isn't good.
They still have
I
to
don't
play.
think I don't think you can use that argument though.
They had to
They're
play a
not
hungry.
good.
They had to play a hungry
Duke is the
UNC
best
team.
team in the country.
Yeah. They
Okay, UNC, that was a tough game, and they only won because it was a lane violation. That game should have gone to overtime.
Oh my God.
That game should have went to overtime.
and they kicked Louisville.
They have the most
Okay,
wins by.
Louisville got kicked down by Stephen Ashford.
They have the most wins by 30 points in college basketball. They have the most wins by 20 points in
Because
college
they
basketball.
play Miami. They play in the same
They blow
conference.
teams out because they're the best team in the country.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you, Alabama's going to win this game.
I'm with JB. I think experience is going to kind of be the big part. I mean,
Thank you.
Cooper Flagg is 18 years old. We don't. Eric Corey's 19. We don't trust him. We don't trust him to set up the conference. I don't think we can trust Cooper
Well, that's
Flagg.
because Eric Corey doesn't apply himself. Cooper Flagg applies himself to play basketball.
I don't think we can trust him to beat a team like Bama. Again, if I'm assuming they're going to beat Arizona, which I'm just kind of going along with y'all's argument, but I just don't think he's going to be. The experience, I think, is where it's going to kind of be a big factor, like JB's saying.
The Flag averages 19, 8, 4, and a steal and a block a game. You said it yourself. Like, this kid's gross, and I I don't know. I think you'll see Tyrese Proctor guarding Mark Sears. That's an interesting matchup. I think Bama, the only way they win is if they put up 100 points against Duke, and I think Duke's defense is too good for that.
I mean,
So,
yeah, we said
we'll see.
Bama can't defend when they're going to play BYU. They're not going to be able to guard Richie Saunders.
I think
they're
they're
going
going
to
to
put
be
a
able to
flag.
defend.
No way.
Well, they held
This
St.
also
Mary's.
might
Held
not-
St. Mary's to 66 points.
This also might not be the matchup that we're the matchup we're arguing about. Might not even be
That's
the
gonna be
actual
the matchup.
matchup.
That's true. We'll
That's
see.
a good matchup.
All right, guys. I don't like that. I don't like that I'm getting angry with you guys. I think it's time that we all see Notar cry. Let's talk about the west side of the bracket. I think we all need a little laugh.
That's just mean.
So
That's
let's
messed up.
before we get to you being so sad. You can stay happy for a little longer.
All right,
We've
fine.
got one more game before we talk about
I'm moving my desk.
the Hogs. Okay, Florida versus Maryland, two teams that had crazy finishes in their game. Who do we got, Jeremy? What do you got?
Listen, I'm going to just rip it off like a Band-Aid. I have Florida going to the national championship.
There you go.
I think Florida, escaped with a win last time out at UConn. They're one seed in this bracket for a reason. I think they come out and show everyone why they're a one seed, and they dismantle Maryland. Derek Queen, great player. Florida, Walter Clayton. I don't think it's going to be much of a contest there. I don't think Maryland really stands a chance. Go Gators.
I think Maryland's was. I think they had a fraudulent run so far. I mean, they played Grand Canyon, who's like an online school. That's barely a school anyone's ever heard of. Colorado State was a little bit tougher for them, which, again, Colorado State is a good team, who I do like. But again, the Mountain West, I don't think that's necessarily a huge, difficult challenge for what should be a really good Maryland team. I think they're being overhyped a lot. I think Florida's going to mop the floor with them.
I think this is going to be the biggest upset that we've seen in March Madness. We mentioned it earlier, the NIL and stuff. You don't see many of them. I think McNeese probably the biggest upset we've seen in this tournament. I'm going to take the Terps here to beat Florida. I just think this Maryland team is a lot deeper than people see. Their four best players are a top four players than a lot of teams have. Like, not a lot of teams have four very good players like Maryland does. And there's no specific reason. I just think it's, Florida's just everybody's riding too high on Florida. I think they're due for a letdown game, and I think Maryland's coming in hungry, and I'll take Maryland here to advance to the ADD.
No, I agree with you, Justin. I think this is a Maryland team that, just had a tough matchup. They were able to squeak a win out of it, but they played Nick Clifford. Nick Clifford played out of his mind versus them. He had probably 5 threes or something in that game. He played insane. And I think it's a Maryland team that I like this team now. They were young. They got their first couple of tournament games under their belt. And Derek Queen, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, he is just an absolute animal. I think that he's going to have his way. And I think, Walter Clayton Jr., the only reason that that Florida's still in this tournament is because he hit 2 of the craziest shots I've ever seen. Double team, fading away, or 3 from the right wing over 2 guys for UConn. I feel like this should be the Huskies right now if Walter Clayton doesn't hit those shots. But I think Maryland, overall, I think they're playing better than Florida. I don't think Florida's really impressed me so far this tournament. Didn't play the best, only won by 20, but that was to, Norfolk State.
Put up 95 points.
Norfolk State put up 69.
You wanted to do 120?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing 40 minutes of basketball when they're up by 30.
Didn't play that good versus UConn.
No, they didn't. I agree. They didn't play their best against UConn.
Exactly.
You said it might be a letdown spot. I think their letdown spot was against UConn. You're playing who I think is probably the best, one of the best coaches in college basketball.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, we will.
Ricky P is the best coach.
Okay, we'll get into that in a minute.
Already getting
But I
angry.
think that was the letdown spot for Florida, and I think Maryland it doesn't have the same firepower that Florida does, and they escaped with the win on a beautiful shot from Derek Queen. It was a really tough bucket that he ended up hitting as time expired. But this is a Florida team I think is going to show everyone why they're a 1 seed and why they won the SEC.
I don't think they're that good. They don't have the tournament experience. I value that, and I'm taking Maryland. This is the first time I'm fading the SEC because I don't think Florida's that good. I thought they were the worst 1 seed. I genuinely thought they were the worst 1 seed coming into the tournament, and I'm going with the Crab 5 in Maryland in this one. I think the Terps are going to get a big win. And they're a team that's playing hot, playing tough, and they're going to stay in it.
Well, it's a good thing Jameis Winston just sided with the New York Giants because I like crab's legs just as much as he does, and we're going to eat some after Florida dismantles Maryland.
All right, it's time. Notar, get the tissues out. Let's talk about Texas Tech versus Arkansas. Before we get there, we have to talk about your Johnnies. Give us your speech on St. John's. Just leave it all out there.
Well, their narrative was they could defend, but they can't shoot, and that's exactly what happened. Arkansas shot 2 for 19 from 3, but St. John's was 2 for 22. So when you shoot 9% in a game from 3, you're not going to win. RJ Lewis had the worst game of the season. He's our best player. He's due for a loss, but still won the Big East championship. But shooting 21 from 75, 20% from the field in a game against a well-coached team like the Razorbacks are. It's just a recipe for disaster, and it's a shame, but it was a good season. Sad.
It was a good season. You got to look at the highs. The Big East is one of the best basketball conferences of all time. You guys won a conference championship, regular season and conference championship. So it was a good season, but Coach Cal is just too good.
We should have been the Natty. That's what it
You
is.
should be. Well, you're not. You're on the couch.
The
You're here with us
I
right
think
now.
See, the problem
I think
is-
2K is making NCAA 2K basketball
Really?
event soon.
I'll send us to
So
that.
you can just have St. John's play the Natty there.
I'm just gonna have.
Hopefully they shoot better than 2 for 22 from 3.
I'll rematch.
Well, if it's Notar in charge, maybe not.
Maybe not, but my opinion, I think Texas Tech sucks, and so I think St. John's would have steamrolled them into the Elite Eight. But this is an actual shame. I was walking back from baseball. Our game got canceled due to snow. It's the middle of March, unbelievable. But I was walking back, looking at watching on my phone, and everybody's asking me what the score was, and it just kept going from 8, 10, 12, 14. They put themselves in a hole, and they couldn't shoot out of it. That's why they lost. But this Arkansas team's good, and if you guys want to, I'm ready to start picking. I don't want to keep talking about the Johnnies. I might shed a tear here.
That's okay. We'll move on from St. John's. Let's talk about Arkansas, Texas Tech, the Razorbacks playing the Red Raiders. Jeremy, what do you got?
Yeah, listen, this has been one of the most fun teams to watch all tournament in the Razorbacks. I think Texas Tech is a good team. Do I think they're great? No. And I think one of the headlines, at least headlines that I've been seeing on Twitter, is all about Crank and Hog in March. So in the Sweet 16, I'm Crank and Hog. We're taking the Razorbacks.
Golly gosh,
I'm taking Texas Tech. I'm going to disagree with Jeremy. I don't think Arkansas has really impressed me that much. I haven't been high on St. John's at all, even though they're a 2 seed. I know, sorry, I don't want to make Notar cry again. I don't think Kansas, like we talked about, Kansas was good to start the season, and then they kind of weren't as dominant. So I haven't been impressed by Arkansas, and I think Texas Tech has just kind of been consistent. I don't know a whole lot about either of these teams, to be perfectly honest. I'm just taking Texas Tech.
I think it'll look better for St. John's if Arkansas wins this game. I
don't think anything's looking
That's
good.
why I'm picking Arkansas. I'm cranking.
Oh, yeah.
That's all he's got.
This is awesome. Oh, man. This is, right now, I'm about to give you guys my most confident pick. Out of every pick, your most confident pick was Alabama. My most confident pick is going to be the underdog, Arkansas. That's my lock. I'm telling you, Arkansas, this is a team that has been come on at the right time. They finished the season red hot, played well in the SEC tournament, got healthy at the right time. They got Boogie Flam back. And at the end of the day, Texas Tech, the way that they live and die by is by JT Toppin. You saw it. You had a 20-point double-double versus Drake. Arkansas, they have really, really good bigs. They've got Brazil and Adu. I think they're going to be able to hold JT Toppin. And other guys in the Red Raiders are going to have to step up. I don't think they will. Boogie Flan's going to get it done. And I think I'm going to go with Arkansas to win this game. I think I'm going to be cranking hot with you guys. I think Arkansas is going to be like, there's always that one, between 8 and 10 seed that makes it really deep, and I think it's going to be the Razorbacks in this one.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. I think Arkansas is playing their best basketball of the season. Got hot at the right time. Really had to, leave it all out there. Pretty much halfway through conference play, didn't really have the best run in the SEC conference play. Had a good run in the SEC tournament, and just hit the ground running from there. This Arkansas team playing really, really well. JB, you brought up guys like Boogie Flan. He was hurt pretty much all year, came back in the first round of the tournament, and I think having him playing the point is really allowing this team to settle in. And Arkansas, you talk about how much you love the SEC, JB. This is my pick at the ACC. I loved them like 2 years ago when they had Anthony Black. So I've always had a soft spot for the Razorbacks. And listen, avenge the Johnnies. Do it for Grandpa Ross back home in Massapequa. And crank hog.
All right, now Elite Eight, Maryland versus Arkansas, Jeremy. Let's get right back.
No, Maryland's in Cabo by the time the Elite Eight rolls around.
Oh my gosh.
You meant to say the Gators.
No.
And if you're going to put a Gator up against a Razorback, JB, I'm going to put this in National Geographic terms. A Gator will just chomp on a Razorback. To be honest with you, I don't even know what a Razorback really is. But Florida,
It's a hog.
I told you I have them going to the national championship. Definitely getting to the Final Four, getting past whoever their matchup against. I believe it'll be Arkansas. Walter Clayton, I think he's been phenomenal this March. This team with size, they play great defense, and they can score the basketball. I mean, first round putting up 95 points. Yeah, I know it's Norfolk State. I don't care. This Florida team is really, really good. They'll be in the national championship. Go Gators.
I mean, I don't want to overthink this one. You don't want to always have the 1 seeds going super duper far because they're a 1 seed, but you don't want to overthink this. Florida's a really good team. I don't think it's fair to not put them even at least going to the Final Four. Again, I wasn't super confident in the Texas Tech or Arkansas matchup, but I think Florida will beat either one of them.
Well, I'm going to have Maryland, Arkansas as well. I think Walter Clayton's going to be showering somewhere in Cancun by the time this
Yeah,
game
he'll probably be on a floaty somewhere.
Yeah, no, Florida's gone by here. Maybe they'll go back to Florida. I mean, it's a lot better weather than right here in Utica, New York. But it's going to be Maryland, Arkansas, and I'm going to sit on a couch watching that game. And every time that Arkansas misses a shot, I'm going to go crazy because they're going to lose by 50 points. There's only a matter of time before they hit their roadblock. Karma's coming. You beat Rick Pitino. Karma's coming.
This is just hate.
I'll take the Terps to the Final Four. Terps to the Final Four.
Okay.
No.
Well, boys, I'm still cranking Hogs. Hogs gonna keep on cranking.
Hog needs to
It's
stop.
gonna keep on cranking. New York Catholic League guy, Boogie Flynn, Stepanek. Shout out to the Catholic League. He's going to keep it going. And this is a team that's really, really good, and they're going to be too much. I'm taking Coach Cal. I'm taking the SEC over the Big Ten, and Arkansas is going to go to the Final Four.
You brought up Walter Clayton showering. The only thing he's going to be showering in on the weekend of March 29th and March 30th is champagne because he's popping bottles going to no, I think it's water bottles like because they're probably under 21. They'll be popping water bottles in the locker room because they'll be advancing to the Final Four.
Are we doing Final Four?
X the host.
No, we're going to do the Final Four before you say that for next week.
Oh, you're lucky.
What?
You're lucky because I'm taking the Terps to the chip.
Oh, okay. All right.
The Terps to the chip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah, boy.
Finally, let's
This is
finish
a
off
serious
with
show.
the Midwest region where we're got another 1 seed in the Houston Cougars. They're going to be facing off against the Boilermakers of Purdue. Jeremy, what's your pick?
I like Purdue a lot. I know people had them losing to High Point in the first round. People thought they were going to lose to McNeese in the second round. Obviously, both of those didn't happen. 31-12, that is really good. I didn't realize that. Wow. Listen, but I think the Purdue train kind of stops here. I'm not the highest on Houston. Out of all the 1 seeds, I think Houston is kind of the weakest. But I do think they have enough to get past Purdue. I think LJ Cryer is a real bucket getter. And I watched him play against Gonzaga. I think he had 6 3-pointers. He balled out. They were up like 14 with like 4 minutes to go in that game. They ended up not scoring for the remaining 4 minutes. Only won that game by about 5 points. But I do think Houston will get past Purdue. And LJ Cryer is going to just continue his great run in March Madness.
We're talking about everyone's most confident locks, and this is absolutely the one I'm the most confident in. Is I really like Houston. This is easily my lock. I don't like Purdue at all. I'm from the Midwest, so I know a lot of people in the Midwest don't like Purdue, except unless you go to Purdue. My dad's from Indiana, and he's the only guy I've ever met from Indiana that likes Purdue. But I don't like Purdue at all. I don't think they're a very good basketball team. I really like Houston. I think their defense is going to be completely shut down Purdue, who's good enough, I guess, at scoring the ball. But with a defense like Houston, I don't think they're going to stand a chance.
I've been high on this Purdue team all year. I think their point guard is one of the best all-around point guards in the country. He's a great facilitator, great shooter. They have a shooter, Fletcher Lawyer. He's he can knock down threes. He's somebody that the Johnnies don't have. And they have a big man that averages 20 points a game. And now we get to Houston. I have never hated a team more than Houston.
Why?
I think anybody in college basketball can beat Houston. I think any women's college basketball team can beat Houston. I think Utica women's basketball could beat Houston. I'm taking Purdue.
Wow. You guys, I'm with Jack. I think Houston, this is a lock in this one. Purdue has played terrible in the tournament. They played terrible. They played McNeese, and they played High Point. You know, what even is a High Point University?
You had High Point.
I did not pick High Point to win that game. Purdue stinks. Purdue is not good. And boys, just like Drake said on his new album, it's going to be raining in Houston. H-Town's going to win this game. They're going to roll right past the Boilermakers. I'm getting X's put on my board.
Get out of here.
I might have to change this to my lock because I know H-Town's winning this game. Purdue is not good. Give me Houston by a million. By a million.
1,000,001.
1,000,001.
I'm going to take a screenshot when I rewatch this video of me scribbling out Houston, and immediately as that final buzzer sounds, I hope you have your ringtone on because you're going to and it's going to be me. And it's going to be me sending you that picture because Houston's garbage. And Purdue?
Houston's one of the best teams in this tournament.
They're the worst one seed by far.
Defensively, they're the second best defensive team. We'll get to the best one. They're better defensively than the Johnnies. I hope you know that.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Do you? I hope you're able to admit Houston's the worst one seed.
No, Florida is. By
Oh
far.
my
God.
no! Dude, they won the
Yes.
SEC. You think it's the
It
best
doesn't
conference? They
matter.
won the SEC.
They won the tournament championship. Auburn was better. Auburn was the better team. Wasn't Auburn the one seed heading into the tournament?
Okay.
Did they win the
and
regular
then
season
if you're
championship?
going to tell me Florida's bad, that's
Florida's
crazy. The
they're
best
not
one seed.
bad,
That's
but
crazy.
they're the worst one seed. Definitely.
No, not.
The Gators, I'm telling you, they're going to get knocked out by the Terps. The Crab Pie's going to knock them out. We'll see. All right, and then I might have lied. You know, there's too many good games. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what the best game is. Because now this might be the best game. Kentucky versus Tennessee. This is an awesome SEC matchup. Jeremy, what's your pick?
I want to start by saying it's really tough to beat a team twice. But in this game, the two top teams in the SEC, two really, really good offenses as well. Obviously, between these two teams, listen, my lock, just fill my holes with points. This game's going to have so many points in it. I do think Tennessee will end up pulling away late. I think Chaz Lanier is a phenomenal player. I wasn't that high on Tennessee this season. JB knows that for sure. I wasn't that high on Tennessee, but watching them the past two games, I mean, dismantling at UCLA last time out, that game was never in question. I think Chaz Lanier is having a phenomenal March. I think he's going to continue to keep it going. And I'm very, very impressed with this Tennessee team. So I think Kentucky's had a great run as well. I know Nico Leonard loves Kentucky and the Wildcats and what they've done over there. But I really think Chaz Lanier in Tennessee is going to move on to the Elite Eight and book a trip and LJ Cryer in Houston.
You mean Braden Smith and Purdue?
Okay.
I do like Braden Smith, but no, not against Houston.
This one is, I've been thinking about this one since my last pick. I don't know. This is a real, like you said, JB, this could be the best matchup we see in the Sweet 16. Kentucky and Tennessee are two really good teams. The camera's on me. I still don't know what my pick is. I'm still thinking. I'm leaning towards Tennessee. I think UCLA was a good team, one of the better teams in the Big Ten. Didn't win nearly as much against Wofford. I don't know what Wofford is, but not nearly as big of a win. I didn't like Illinois, but Kentucky was able to not super easily beat Illinois, who I didn't think was a very good team. So I'm going to take Tennessee just in terms of dominance of the teams they've played so far. But again, I'm not super confident in that pick.
I think when you go to the Tennessee-UCLA game, UCLA dismantled Utah State. They almost kind of looked like they were like, I mean, only first round, obviously, but it kind of looked like they were like the best team. They played the best out of everybody in that first round, in my opinion. And this Tennessee team is, like we mentioned with Duke earlier, they're a very well-rounded team. They can score and defend. And teams that could do both, I like. So I'm going to take Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Move on to face Purdue.
Can you hold that up again? Hold that up again to the camera.
Tennessee.
That's cool.
We're taking the Bulls.
Yeah, Tennessee, this is a team, I'm the exact opposite of you, Jeremy. I was so high on this team, especially coming out of the SEC tournament. I think they played really well in the games they played in that tournament. This is the best defensive team, I think, in March Madness. I think that they're the best defensive team. Zakai Ziegler. They've got, Chaz Lanier, like you said, playing some of the best basketball. Big man from Croatia. This is a really good Tennessee team. And I originally had them in my bracket making it to the national championship. And one of my brackets actually had them winning all. So, yeah, the Vols are this is going to be a great game. I'm sorry, Nico. I know that you love Kentucky. And Kentucky's really good. I wish I could pick Kentucky because I really do like Kentucky too. But it's just Tennessee is just too good. I think the Vols are really one of the best teams of March Madness. They're going to roll on to play Houston, not Purdue. Houston. Yes. All right.
Well, before we move on, you said that they're the best defensive team in March Madness. The best defensive team in March Madness is somehow eliminated. Like,
Because they can't score. They went 2 for 22 for 3.
Why they're eliminated if
they
they're the
can't
best
score.
defensive team, and
They're
the
the
two
best
other
defensive team.
really good defensive teams are still in it. I wonder why. You got an explanation for that?
Because we can't score. We need Brady Dunlap. Like, Brady was hurt.
I think
Brady's the guy
you
that
guys
was
may
before.
need Dean Cox. I don't.
You can get Brady. You can get another Brady Bernard. I'm sure
You can
he'll
get him.
play. I'm sure he'll suit up to play.
All right, it's Johnny's by a million
Okay.
in another world.
By
But
another
Tennessee,
world.
Purdue, guys, Elite Eight.
Oh, yo, Houston, Tennessee's gonna be a really good
Yo,
game.
Purdue, Tennessee is gonna be a battle. I can't wait.
Okay. All right, Jerry, what's your pick?
That happening next year.
Again, listen. Listen, I said it a little while ago. I'm not gonna moose over. I said it a little again. I wasn't that high on Tennessee coming in. Houston, I was kind of disappointed watching them last time out against the Zags. Again, they looked like they were in full control of that game, and this looked like they forgot how to score the basketball. And if you do that against a team like Tennessee, it's going to be a real rough day for any type of basketball team. I do think the Tennessee Volunteers will be going to the Final Four to take on the Duke Blue Devils. Again, I think Chaz Lanier is going to cement himself in a March Madness legend type of role. You mentioned Zakai Ziegler, JB, a great defender for this Tennessee roster, and I think having that 1-2 punch really propel them over Houston, get them into the Final Four, and again, to just prove me wrong from my opinion early on in the season. So give me the Vols, shout out Morgan Wallen, don't throw any chairs off any bar rooftops.
I mean, we talked about Alabama and BYU just being two completely offensive teams. That game could be 212 to 210. I think this game's going to be the total opposite. This could be like 10-7.
It's like a Jet game.
I'm going to take Houston, though. I just think they're the better all-around team. I really like that team from so far, and I was just high on them going into the game. And again, I don't want to overthink it. Trying to think of like the 1 seeds in the Final Four. I know that's a big talk in terms of like when you're picking brackets, but I like Houston over Tennessee. Again, Tennessee and Kentucky were two good teams, but I think Houston will be better than both of them.
Well, I don't know how Houston's moving on to the Final Four when they're not in the Elite Eight. I'm going to take Purdue, my lock of the century. Purdue's going to be in the Final Four.
Purdue to the Final Four. Oh.
Dude, Zach Edey's in the NBA.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Zach
Braden
Edey's
Smith
not
isn't.
good.
Neither is Fletcher Lloyd.
Jaden Ivey's
neither,
not playing there
neither
anymore.
is Trey Kaufman-Durant. This team is very underrated. I think a couple of big losses, for example, the Indiana one on the road, kind of decreased their stock, which is good for me because my stock has been high on them. And they're going to beat Houston. Houston is dog doo-doo, and then they're gonna, and then they're going to beat Tennessee, and they're going to be in the Final Four against Duke. And Ole Miss and Maryland are going to be on the other side. And then when I get every pick correct, I'll make sure you guys know that I did.
Go ahead. Wait, say your Final Four again. Was Ole Miss, Maryland's,
Duke and Purdue.
Oh my God.
Goodness gracious.
That's terrible, guys.
JB, before you go, real quick, when you shout out to the white chat, thank you. Does Purdue have a new sink coming with them to this round, like you do to your suite?
No, Purdue's gonna be on the couch.
So Purdue's win celebration, you know how Omaha was beating
Yeah, they
up the
do the
trash
trash
can?
can.
So, Purdue's going to start beating up sinks.
No, I think Utica baseball is gonna start doing that. You guys might.
Yeah, new sink to 210 on the way. Stay tuned.
All right. Final pick here. Before we close out my Final Four, thus far I got 3 SEC teams. I'm gonna make it 4. I'm gonna go with good old Rocky Top to knock off the Houston Cougars because Purdue's gonna be on the couch. Houston, really good team, but I think Tennessee is just a better version of Houston. They're better defensively. They got the better star, that being Chaz Lanier. They've got better role players around him, such as Zakai Ziegler, and this is a really, really good Tennessee team. The team that I'm not gonna spoil my Final Four picks or Final Four predictions into the national championship yet because we're talking about that next week.
Maryland.
But yeah, once Tennessee is playing in the Final Four, you guys are gonna know who I'm taking.
Well,
I'll say it like that.
our picks now aren't going to matter. Or your guys' picks now won't matter. You guys are going to have to start next week when we do this. It's going to be Ole Miss, Maryland, Duke, Purdue. You guys are going to have to pick from those. I mean, my bracket's going to still be fine, but.
No, it's gonna be Auburn versus Arkansas, Alabama versus Tennessee in the Final Four.
All right. Well, Arkansas is going to lose by 80 to Maryland.
No.
Do we have like whiteout that he can use next time? For next
Yeah,
round?
he's gonna have to white out this. This is all terrible.
Purdue is the lock of the century. Any
it's
sports
not.
better out there, just if you want free money, just take Purdue.
This is terrible. All right.
Wait, don't go nowhere.
Sorry,
all
I
right.
had
Well,
to
we
watch
got one more thing before we wrap up.
All right,
You might
so
end it now.
I got Yankees over 92.5 wins,
Oh
the
my
Rangers over
goodness.
85.5 wins, the
All right,
D-backs
all
over
right.
86.5 wins, the Royals over 82.5 wins,
Oh.
and to top it all off, a little plus 1,000 piece. Jacob DeGrom to win the American League Cy Young. I figure since opening day is tomorrow, I figure throw out some season-long bets for everybody. Yeah, let's cash.
And Juan Soto, I hope you get hurt.
All right. Well, that'll just about do it here for us here at Utica TV. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe down below because we're going to have a lot of good content coming up for you guys this weekend. We've got Utica TV game day at the Frozen 4, and we're going to be boots on ground, like I said, for Utica, as they're going to be facing off against Curry College. Tune in this Friday night at 5:45 for Utica TV game day with the 4J's live from the Frozen 4. Can't wait for that one, guys.
Oh, and we also have a replacement.
We do have a special guest.
Yeah.
Special guest Nico Leonard will be on boots on ground right
Everyone,
with us.
just be prepared to see a very handsome man on stream.
Very beautiful mustache.
Just guys, just try to stay focused to the pregame show. Just don't just look at Nico. I know it's gonna be hard, but
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be a great weekend, though. Really excited for it. Jack and I are calling the game before Hobart versus Geneseo. He's on sideline, I believe, for the Utica game. I'll be calling it with our very own Ray Biggs. And it's going to be a great weekend. Excited to have our very own Nico Leonard on the game there with us. We're going to miss you, Juddy.
and
But,
Curry's gonna win for everybody.
Oh. All right, well, we got predictions that we're going to do for the show, so don't want to miss that one. 5:45 this
he got his
Friday
pick
night.
in.
Yeah, I got my
He's
pick.
got
He's
his
not going
pick
to be
in.
there. Yeah.
It's Curry.
Yeah, that's your pick.
Everyone's lucky I'm not coming because I'll be wearing a Steph Curry jersey. I'll be getting the fans hype.
All right, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Always remember to fear the moose.
Fear Duke.